I enjoyed Last of Us season 2 until the last episode. Uh I was someone that was defending this show because it is pretty ridiculous that people were complaining that it felt slow or this and that when fucking the video game's like 15 hours long and obviously you're playing through like multiple gameplay sections versus a show that's got to flesh it out more. But yeah, so I guess here we go. First episode, pretty fucking good, but definitely feels a bit like a filler episode. We get introduced to Dana. Her and Joel actually have interactions, which I was surprised about because, as far as I remember, they don't really interact in the games. I actually replayed Last of Us 1 and 2 in honor of season 2. Beat The Last of Us 1 on Grounded, no mods, because I got the original one in only 2 days. Um, and I was already on Seattle day one. I had started a new save data, who knows when, and I was already on Seattle day one with Ellie. But, like, that's just barely getting into the game, in my opinion. And that is where I started from when playing that. So, yeah, I beat that in like 3 days. I did it on moderate plus. I had meant to do it on grounded. I just assumed it was on grounded, but I guess I didn't have it on grounded from whenever I played it. So I'm gonna compare some of the stuff that I got from Last of Us Part 2 to this show when I get to things that I want to compare it to. First episode, like I said, it's just decent. Now, the second episode, however, I thought was really fucking good. Like, really. I thought it added more to the video games because I think that is what some of the show did was adding more. You know, like making the Scars a little bit more sympathetic. Like, yeah, they are cult members. They are not the greatest people. But at the end of the day, they are trying to survive an apocalypse, and most of the people in the apocalypse aren't great people, like Ellie and Joel. So I like that they made them more sympathetic in this. I think that was a smart choice. It also makes, if you want to replay the game, um, more hesitant when killing Scars, and I liked that. But let's talk about this episode. Um, I do have to point out the fact that Abby's friends are also generically casted. I think Nora was the only one that stood out. The rest of them, they left no impression on me so far. Maybe in the next season they will do better, but I still doubt it. Like Owen just looks so generic. Mel looks so generic. Nora, she's got a very unique look, and she gave a pretty fucking good performance. I liked her, and we didn't even see that much of her. Manny, I don't know. We haven't seen that much of him. I did not like him in the game. He was a bit of a fucking sex pervert. Fucking one of the wolves gets a few of their fingers shot off, and he immediately makes a joke about how, hey, you only need three. Plus, he's a bit of a womanizer. He's not a great dude. Um, so I probably still won't like him in this. Maybe I'll like him more in the show as long as they don't make him such a fucking weirdo. Uh, anyways, yeah, her friends are just generic. Abby's casting's pretty good. She does look decently like Abby, but I do have a critique about her not being as buff as she should be. Like, that is a big part of her character that she got so dedicated for revenge against Joel that she just got her body ripped. That's like a big part of her. I will say that Abby looks a lot like Ellie from the video games. Like, I do think Bella Ramsey somewhat resembles Ellie from the video games. But I think it's pretty weird that they got somebody that does look a lot like Abby to play Ellie. I mean, looks a lot like Ellie to play Abby. But I mean, she looks like Abby too at the same time. It's crazy. At least in my opinion, she looks like Ellie and she looks like Abby at the same time. We don't see much of her. We only see her in like 2 episodes of this season. So, she'll definitely be fleshed out more next season, hopefully. Her killing Joel, that scene, I think it hit harder than a video game. I'm sorry. I think it did. It's very brutal. She is punching the shit out of him. She's using the golf club, and she ends up impaling him with the golf club through his neck. In the video game, she just hits him with it, which is still brutal. But man, it just shows you how angry she was at Joel, which she has every right to be. He killed her dad. Regardless if you think Joel was in the right or not, you're gonna fucking kill the shit out of someone that you thought, that killed a loved one, especially if you can get away with it since it's an apocalypse. People most of the time aren't going to judge you for murdering someone in an apocalypse, especially if they murdered a loved one. And I think they actually did it better in the video game. I don't know if that's a hot take, but in my personal opinion, when that episode ended, I was like, wow, that was better than the game. I did think it was a little silly that she called Joel handsome, but at the same time, it doesn't ruin it for me, because you could still acknowledge someone's attractive that you don't like. Plenty of people do that. Like, I'll see dumb memes all the time on the internet where someone will go, oh my god, I hate that this dude's a bad person, he's so hot. So I don't know why people are so surprised that she made like an offhand comment about how she thought that Joel was handsome. Like, she wasn't talking about fucking him. She simply pointed out that someone else said he was handsome, and she's like, oh, I can see why they said that. She's not trying to fuck him. Joel has a pretty funny line before the beating happens, where she tries to go on a little rant about why she's doing this, and he's like, shut the fuck up and get it over with. Like I said, I didn't replay the part where Joel dies since I start at Seattle day 1. So I don't remember if Joel has something like that in the game. I probably should have looked it up. But that's episode 2. I also liked how they did Sean Moore, I think is his name. He's the homophobic bigot in the video game. I liked how they did him more in the show. They fleshed out his character a bit more. Because in the video game, he simply shows up, calls somebody a slur, and then Joel intervenes, and Ellie's like, well, who the fuck do you think you are? And it's more just to give tension and to show how much Ellie and Joel's relationship has fallen apart. In the show, I think they did it way better. Though they make Dana less antagonistic in the show, because in the video game she was like really going off on Sean, which he deserved. And the reason he calls her the slur is because he calls her a loudmouth, and then he says the word. But in this, he just calls them the D-slur. I don't think it worked as well in the show, like that part. I do think Joel shoving him to the floor works way better. Like, that definitely felt like Joel. In the video game, it's kind of like a, hey man, stop kind of shove. But in the show, he fucking wrecks that man, which makes sense. So, yeah, they flesh him out a bit more where he decides to help Ellie and even takes her side. He helps her sneak out to go avenge Joel. Day 1 was really fucking good. I really liked day 1. Oh, I should go back to episode 2 for a second. They do change the fact that Tommy goes with Joel, when Joel gets killed. They just take Tommy out of the equation and Dana goes with him instead. And they waste medical supplies on her, which I thought was weird. This is an apocalypse, and they use like a needle to make her fall asleep. They should have just knocked her out. Um, that's just wild that you're wasting medical supplies in an apocalypse. Especially since they got their whole camp and they need medical supplies for all the different people and all the soldiers and blah blah blah. But yeah, they like. Oh, and speaking of Dana, she's the same girl that played Dora in the Dora live action remake. I did want to point that out. I believe she was in a Transformers movie too, which I haven't seen either of those. But I did recognize her actor immediately. I think she does a decent performance as Dana with what she's given. Um, People criticize her because she isn't as confident, but I do like that they changed that. You know, I mean, you're in an apocalypse. You're dirty and grimy, and you're still young. You're not gonna be like confident in your sexuality in an apocalypse, especially when you're bisexual. When that's already something that so many people criticize. Like a lot of people say, pick a side, and even bi people themselves will sometimes struggle with that. Um, and she still very much is bisexual in the show. I think they did fine with it. And the second episode also had like an amazing scene with like infected fucking storming the place and Tommy killing them and all the other people killing them. It was amazing. And it wouldn't have worked if they didn't, have a Tommy not have the Joel moment. But I still think it kind of sucks that Tommy wasn't there when his brother died. Like I do think that took a little bit away from the death of Joel. Not terribly so, but a little bit. Like, I think Tommy should have been there. But at the same time, they wrote a way out of him being there, so. And the way they did it was fucking awesome. He ends up killing a bloater with a flamethrower, and that kill was fucking awesome. Feel Her Love. Um, we see a bit of the scars. We get full frontal nudity with one of the scars having his dick out and being tortured by Isaac. Just crazy. Isaac is fucking sadistic. I like that they fleshed him out more because we just don't see that much of him in the game. A lot of people liked him being more mysterious in the game and not seeing much of him, but I definitely prefer that we got to see more of him in the show. He's just really cool. Um, we also see Josh Peck for a little bit. He's one of the people that Isaac kills in a flashback scene. Fuck Josh Peck. He's a dirtbag. Especially with the shit he said about Jeanette McCurdy. So I was happy to see him go. I was like, fuck, he's in this show. Then he got killed, so fuck him. Um, Episode 6, The Price, is mainly flashbacks. And I really enjoyed this episode. I will say I didn't like that they changed Eugene's death. Eugene's death in the game is he dies of natural causes, which isn't a typical thing to have happen in a zombie apocalypse. And I liked that. It sucks that that they changed it. They could have just had him be a different character like Jim. Like just name him fucking Jim or something. Like have him be a completely new character. Like you're taking away from poor Eugene's death. But regardless, it works amazingly and is probably one of the best episodes of the series. At least in season 2. I would have to rewatch season 1. I mean, season 1 had the awesome Bill and Frank episode. So that might be the best episode in the entire series, but here I would have to say episode 6 is probably the best one we got. It makes it more realistic how Ellie finds out that Joel is a bad person. Like, yes, she does question him in the end of the game. It's very clear that she doesn't fully believe him, but she also doesn't want to believe this guy that she trusts isn't a bad person. So she just kind of lets it go for a while until it gets to be too much. In the game, she sneaks out one night and is able to somehow get to the Firefly Hospital. Like, she's living in Jackson now. Who knows how far away the Firefly Hospital is? She's able to not only get there without being killed by, basically anybody, like zombies, maybe wild animals that are searching for food, like wolves or something. Though I do believe we've never seen wolves in the Last of Us games, even in like brief cutscenes. Or one of the many people from the first game, like the cannibals, or whatever. Just she's able to make it not only to the hospital, but when she gets there, she's able to find a recording that one of the Fireflies left behind for some reason of them talking about Joel killing people. Like, that's so convoluted. In the show, she's able to realize Joel's a lying sack of shit because Joel promises Eugene that he'll take him to his wife, and he doesn't. He kills him. Not only that, he tells Ellie that he's gonna lie. He tells Ellie that. He says, we're only gonna tell her what she needs to know. And he goes to the wife and tries to tell her that Eugene wasn't scared, that he didn't want to risk her life, and that he shot himself. Joel knows what he did is wrong. He shot the guy. He was scared, and he wanted to see his life. He lies about everything. And wow. Ellie's reaction is amazing. Billy Ramy's performance is amazing here. Though I do think in episode 7, a lot of her performances just felt flat. Like, her acting wasn't very good. Like, it was like they gave her one take and then just moved on. Like, she had amazing performances in the first season, and like I said, in this episode. So I don't get what happened in the finale. Just, it's something else. We also don't even have an episode that is like a multiple, like an hour and 20 minutes or something. When we had a few episodes like that in the first season, where we had an hour and some odd minutes, which the most we get here is an episode that is 1 hour, and it's the episode before the finale. The finale, they only gave 50 minutes. Jesse is also a complete dick here. He's one of the nicest characters in probably the entirety of The Last of Us 1 and 2. Like, even, Sam and Henry were dicks at times. And, you can forgive them, but they still weren't great. Jesse, however, is basically a character with no flaws in the video game. He's perfectly fine with Ellie dating Dina. Like, they try and do a little sneaky thing where he's like, wait, you kissed Dina? Not cool. And, he's clearly fucking with her. Like, he's just having fun. He doesn't give a fuck. And, when he ends up talking to her after helping her, he's like, hey, if you would have asked me to come, I would have, Well, in the show, he tells her she's a selfish bitch, basically. Like, he straight up does say she's selfish. and that she only cares about herself and blah, blah, blah. Like, he's a dick. And a few episodes before this, she had tried to talk to him, and he goes, "Does it look like I want to fucking talk to you right now?" Like, this man is an asshole. It leads to you not really caring that much when he dies. They also have Dana get shot with the arrow instead of Ellie. And they change the way Dina finds out about Ellie being immune. And then, like, an episode later, introduce spores. I do like the way they introduce spores. Like, the acting was amazing, and the characters' reactions to spores being a thing was amazing. But that's really, really stupid. Ellie gets bit in front of Dana to protect her because she puts her hand out and purposely gets bit so Dana doesn't get bit, which is pretty cool. But in the grand scheme of things, if you're going to introduce spores like the next episode, I personally think that's kind of dumb. I still think, yeah, sure, it was a cool thing to show how much Ellie cares about Dana. But at the same time, in the video game, she ends up trying to choose revenge over Dana. But yeah, I still think it was decent. We get introduced spores, and they talk about how it's in the air, and the characters' reactions are just really good. Episode 7 is by far the worst episode. Just really, really shitty finale. Jesse gets his dickiness put up to level 10. Ellie's a dick back. And it's kind of fucking corny. She does, "What? You think I'm good? And you think I'm bad and you're good? You think you're a saint?" It's so fucking corny. It's just, what are you doing, man? It doesn't work. It's stupid. Her acting here isn't the greatest either. Jesse has some stupid conversation with how Ellie would do the same for him and save him, and then he immediately dies right after. Abby's line just slightly changed, where instead of she saying, "We let you live and you wasted it," she says, "I let you live and you wasted it," which, wow, way to diminish the fact that the other people were just as involved as Abby was. They also take out some of the characters from the game of Abby's friends. Jordan is not here. Leah is not here. There's also a minor character that I don't really remember that Tommy tortured and killed. He's not here either. Also, no mention of Danny yet. Maybe he's mentioned next season. Like, I get he wasn't the most important character. Like, he's... Besides a cutscene, you can miss some of his dialogue. They basically just reused the same dialogue for Danny. Because there's a line in the game that you can hear about how Owen and Danny went on some thing together. And when you find out Danny's dead, they basically say the exact same thing. Like, it's missable dialogue. So they just spoon-fed it to you again in the game. And we don't even see Danny's death. We don't even really see him as a character. But regardless, I do think that is something special about The Last of Us. What else is there really to talk about? I do like that we see a little bit of Abby's perspective after the kind of corny scene. Abby points a gun at Ellie and shoots at her. And Ellie goes, "No, no, no, wait." And just the delivery is kind of corny. The cutoff is kind of corny. It's just the way it's filmed is not very good. It's like the same with AEW wrestling. As much as I like AEW, their camera crew really isn't the best. Because WWE has a good camera crew where they will, go away from things that way to make the wrestling look more real, to make the hits look harder. But AEW, the camera cuts will show botches that aren't really botches, like a Samoa Joe hitting a big boot, but it doesn't connect. Like, yeah, it's not supposed to connect, but a camera is supposed to make it look like it does. Well, that's kind of what they did here. I think that's the best way to describe it. It's just that it doesn't look great. What I do think is great is right after we see a little bit of Abby and her town with like the wolf shelter or whatever you want to call it. I don't really know what you would call it. And it looks just like a video game. Like the camera angle looks like we're playing a video game. I thought that was really cool. But that is really all the praise I can give episode 7, because it was not a good episode. And they made it seem like Dana was more into the revenge thing than Ellie was. Ellie did a good performance when she killed Nora too. I thought that was a good performance. But her performance in episode 7 just really fell flat. A lot of her dialogue fell flat. I also have a really pointless scene with Ellie riding in her boat to go get Abby or whatever. And she ends up going to Scar Island, and they are about to hang her, but explosions happen in the background, and they're like, leave her. And they leave her alive, and she gets back in the boat and leaves. They also changed the Mel and Owen death. I think it's stupid. I think it's really stupid. Not that they changed it, but the way they did it. In the game, Ellie decides to reuse something she learned from Joel, a military tactic, to turn them against each other. And it's a very tense scene. In the show, it just kind of fucking sucks. Falls flat. Like, I'm saying this a lot, but episode 7 just really wasn't good. Like, I loved this show. I was loving this show from episode 1 to episode 6. Even though, episode 1, like I said, there wasn't too much to talk about. It was just giving us a little bit more of Joel before the inevitable. I really liked episode 1 through 6. Episode 7 was not good. And the fact that they only did 7 episodes is very strange when most shows do 8 episodes nowadays. Meanwhile, like, the first season didn't even do 8 episodes. They gave us an extra. They gave us a bonus. We got 9 episodes. But they felt like they were really rushing this season to get everything done. Like, we're not actually in an apocalypse. You realize that, right? You got time to film this show. Well, back to the death in the video game. What ends up happening is Owen ends up trying to take the gun from Ellie, and she shoots him. And then Mel tries to attack her with a knife, and she ends up killing her too. And while Owen's gasping for breath, bleeding out, he sputters out the word, "She's pregnant." And that is when Ellie realizes that Mel is pregnant. And it's a fucking amazing scene in the game. In the show, Owen ends up grabbing a gun and trying to shoot Ellie. Ellie shoots, and it somehow hits both of them. I believe she only shot once. I may be misremembering, but I believe she only shot once, and she managed to kill both of them with one bullet. Owen's, like, I think dead immediately, but Mel survives for a little bit, which is the complete opposite of the video game too, because Owen survives for a little bit and Mel's dead immediately. But anyways, that's just something funny I just realized. Mel tries to get Ellie to fucking perform a C-section to get the baby out. And of course, Ellie doesn't know what the fuck she's doing, so she doesn't even attempt to do it, though, which I thought was kind of weird. Mel's over there telling her she's doing a good job when Ellie hasn't even fucking started. And Tommy and Jesse show up and they leave. And the whole scene just happens so fast. Like even though it does happen decently fast in the game, like it happens in the span of 2 minutes, in the show it just feels way faster. Like, hell, it might be the exact time for all I know, but I feel like it was maybe only a minute with all that happens. Like, I think the padding would probably mostly be fucking Mel trying to get Ellie to perform the C-section. Like, the actual scene itself of them both getting shot and her trying to get them to do the map thing probably would be very, very short. And I still just can't get how fucking generic the actor for Owen looks. That's nothing against the actor, but when you are casting something to look more, like the video games, like I don't expect him to look exactly like him, but this dude looks nothing like Owen. Ellie's just not as sadistic as she is in the game. Some people had complained that she was unlikable. Like, people were like, oh, I watched the first episode and I didn't even like her. I don't see that. Like, I didn't dislike her. I mean, I had some problems with her only in the finale, but some people were talking about how much they disliked her throughout the show this season, and I was like, what? She's doing good performances. Sure, the writing's a bit iffy at times, like the fact that Dana seems to be more interested in getting revenge for Joel than she does, but as a character, she wasn't unlikable. I think that's just a very strange thing to say. Now, I think the biggest problem I had with the show personally was Joel being homophobic. Yes, that's right. Joel is homophobic. While in the game, he seems more indifferent to it. Like, he doesn't have a problem with it, but it's not something like he's particularly thought about. Like, he's got better things to think about since it's a fucking apocalypse. Like, it's just never something he's thought about. Like, he's never thought, oh, Ellie's a lesbian. He's just cared about her by being his daughter. Like, he's never thought about her sexuality. Well, another thing, I don't know if this was happened in the game since, like I said, I played from Seattle day one. Kat is 19 and Ellie's 17. I don't care that it's only a 2-year difference. She's a grown adult. Ellie's not an adult. It's weird. Just a weird thing. I don't know if it was like that in the game. Not that I remember it wasn't. So, like I said, a bit fucking weird. Joel's not worried about that part. Joel's worried about the part that she's a girl. He says the stereotypical homophobic thing that Ellie's just experimenting. What? I was so fucking shocked. I literally said what out loud like I just did, but way louder multiple times when he said those words. Because that just, personally to me, does not fit Joel's character. Just very, very strange. They didn't have Tommy get shot in the head by Abby. As far as we know, maybe we'll see it in the extended cut next season with Abby. But if that is a change, I'll be perfectly fine with that, because even the game had to have some dumb excuse on why he survived the headshot. He should have died there. During the flashback in the video games, if you go to a certain dinosaur head and you interact with it, Joel will go, "That one looks like Tommy. He's always had a thick skull." That is basically, I mean, that's gotta be basically their way of writing off the fact that he's gonna later survive a shot to the head, which is just so fucking lazy. Um, so, yeah, overall, season 2 was not as good as the first season. Just because of the finale. Like, the finale brought it down that much. Like, I loved season 1 through 6. Not season 1 through 6. I loved episode 1 through 6. Like, yeah, they had their problems now and then, but I still loved the episodes regardless. I think making Joel homophobic was a bit weird. Like, sure, he's not outwardly homophobic. He doesn't do the typical thing, like, say, color slur or whatever, but saying someone's experimenting and denying her sexuality is homophobic. And he never does apologize to her for that, as far as we know. And I feel like that is the reason why he wanted to defend her more, which I guess does add to his character, but it's just still stupid. Like, yeah, Joel's a bad person, but homophobic is a bit of a stretch. Like, maybe he didn't mean it. You can just say it was an angry moment or blah, 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 but I still think it's really stupid. But like I said, I think the way the show is framing it is that he regrets being homophobic to Ellie. And that is why he reacts so strongly to Sean being homophobic to Ellie. Which, okay, he could react strongly to someone being homophobic without that. I also get like a brief flashback with a young Joel telling his dad that he's not going to let him beat his brother because he like bought weed or something. It's kind of out of nowhere. I don't think it adds too much. It does add the part that to give us more reasoning for some reason why Joel saved Ellie. Like, Joel wants to be a better dad than his dad. Also, to make Joel homophobic makes even less sense because this version of Joel, because in the game, Joel has a white daughter named Sarah. In the show, obviously she is the same character, but she's black in the show. So this man, like, yeah, sure, I guess we can say that a guy that would date a black woman can be homophobic, but I feel like that's less likely. So he has a black daughter in the video game. His brother's dating a black woman and has a black child, but this man is homophobic? Okay. That feels forced to me. Yeah, that's The Last of Us Season 2. This might be one of the longest reviews I've ever done. And, yeah, not a fan of Joel being homophobic in the flashback episode, but I still think his speech with Eugene and all of that episode was really amazing besides the homophobia. Like, I really liked Eugene saying, "I don't want last words for her, I want last words for me." Like, he wanted to hear her voice one last time. It's a gut punch. Just really good. There's a lot of good stuff about this show, and there's bad stuff about this show. And I think the finale was just really, really bad. Hopefully season 3 will not have a bad finale.